All right. Hey there, y'all. Welcome. My guest today is Rita Jenkins-Wolcott. She is a fitness professional, personal trainer, former licensed massage therapist, and professional dancer with over 4 decades of teaching experience. She's the founder of Bolder Barre and opened Bolder Barre and Fitness in 2016. She specializes in creating health and fitness programs designed exclusively for the unique needs of women over 40, especially those struggling with perimenopause and menopause, to help them regain their fitness, strength, and energy and get lasting results without a huge time commitment. So, welcome, Rita.
Oh, thank you. Very well done.
Thank you. I'm excited to have you. Now, if I've got clients that are watching this, they know I usually do not push exercise for weight loss, although I do usually encourage them to kind of get some healthy movement in, kind of get the happy chemicals going. But a lot of clients, once they sort of start with just like a little walk or some yoga, a couple of months into the program, they may want more. And so I wanted to have you on to talk to them and whoever else is watching. And the question I wanted to start with is, what changes with exercise when a woman is over 40?
Well, actually, quite a bit, because once you hit 45, well, once you're technically in perimenopause or menopause, you have a different body. You have different hormones, you have different metabolism, you have different body composition. And so a lot of women I find say, I haven't changed anything. I'm eating the same way, I'm working out the same way, and I'm not getting results. I'm like, that's why. Because with a different hormone panel and metabolism, body composition, you need a different approach.
Makes sense.
So,
It's almost
yeah,
like we just wake up one day in a new body, and because it changed gradually, we maybe didn't even notice it. So,
yeah.
along those lines, this is like an awkward question we should all know the answer to, but don't. How do we know if we're in perimenopause?
Well,
Do they send you something
I
in the
learned that.
mail?
You got it.
Congratulations.
They swab the inside of your nose. Yeah.
That's a COVID test. I've had one of those.
Interestingly, I think the stat was 43% of women felt that they were not educated on menopause symptoms, menopause, what to expect. I did a big post about this because I thought, and maybe you and I even talked about it, when you're 13 and you get that awkward PE class where they tell you about puberty, they don't do that with menopause. And in fact, it's kind of the opposite, because at least in America, there's a little bit of a stigma to menopause. And, people typically know the vasomotor symptoms, hot flashes and night sweats, but you can be in perimenopause and not have symptoms. 80% of women are going to have symptoms, and there are 34 symptoms associated with menopause. It's some real bizarre stuff that you wouldn't know. In fact, one of my former instructors, I think back now at things she was telling me was going on. Oh, I have tinnitus. Oh, I have this. And I thought, oh, that's all perimenopause. I didn't know that a couple years ago. So I think you want to look for when changes start to happen to your menstrual cycle. But that's not even a given. And you can have your hormones tested, but that's a snapshot. It really,
Mhm.
that could vary from day to day or within a day. So it is real hard to tell. But what does happen is, in perimenopause, your estrogen just goes crazy. It just goes on this crazy roller coaster ride. And then it ultimately, along with progesterone and testosterone and other hormones, it tanks. And so when that tanks, people think that we gain weight in menopause. And there was 2 studies recently done. One said there's really no correlation with weight gain and menopause. And it was done over 1 million women in 2019. And then 2021, there was a second study that said that our metabolism doesn't really slow. I mean, that's been a common thing. Well, my metabolism slowed, and it doesn't. And they did a study, and long story short, your metabolism stays relatively steady from ages 20 to 60. And then after 60, it only goes down about 7% a year. And yet women gain weight in menopause. And so why is that? Well, when we lose estrogen, that's a driver for muscle. So we lose muscle, less muscle, corresponding increase in cortisol, more fat storage. And so what we may think is weight gain is really a weight distribution. And you know where it goes, the least cute kind of fat.
The belly fat is the least cute kind of fat. Yes.
So that's frustrating. I'm getting it right in the middle and I don't know how to get rid of it. And that's where your exercise prescription needs to change.
Okay. Yeah. So if a client came to you, right, and I personally think we should be exercising sort of for overall fitness, but if somebody specifically came to you and said, I need to lose this like wiggly part around the middle, what would you tell them to do? Because I think, years ago when we were in our 20s and 30s, the prescription was go get on a cardio machine for like a couple of years.
That's the thing I'd say absolutely don't do.
Yeah.
So that's kind of flip-flopped. So I'd say a couple things to that. One is you can't spot reduce. Fat loss is fat loss. It's systemic. You can choose where you build muscle oftentimes, but you can't choose where you're going to lose fat, which is why the sad thing is, hey, I lost weight and what happened? My face got thin and my boobs went away.
Like, I want my money back.
So, one of the things is, and I think what's great about what you do is that the nutrition has to change, and that's 80% of it. Nutrition drives the fat loss bus, and exercise is the other 20%, but it's not any less important. So because of estrogen tanking, and we have accelerated losses of muscle and bone after 30, if you're not doing anything to offset it, which is why there is some urgency. That's going to keep going down. So people say, once I get to this point, I'll start working out, or once I lose the weight, then I'll start. I'm like, but you're not going to start at this point. If you wait another year, you're going to start with even less muscle, more fat, you're going to be more prone to falls and frailty. So number one is strength training, to lifting heavy for you weights. So what's heavy for me may not be heavy for you, or vice versa. But strength training is what's gonna, if you think of a three-legged stool, there's estrogen and strength training and protein. So your nutrition, you have to bump up your protein and you have to strength train to offset the muscle loss.
Interesting.
Paramount.
Yeah.
And then fitting in some cardio intervals, some high intensity interval training, some mobility, and basically more movement, your NEAT, your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, walking more, standing up more, walking your dog, just more movement during the day is going to help tremendously. Leisure walking. So what we need is more high intensity exercise, more low intensity exercise like walking and mobility, stretch, yoga, a balance of high and low, and nothing in that middle zone. That getting on the treadmill is the worst thing for women in perimenopause and menopause, because it drives your cortisol, and it also causes muscle wasting, and muscle is what we have to hang on to if we want to age. It is legit the fountain of youth.
So I think everybody kind of understands why you want to hang on to your bone density. You don't want to be like Mama and break a hip if you fall over, or when you fall over. But, and this may be like a weird question since you're kind of a fitness person, but why do I care if I have muscle or not? What does it matter? Some of it's the look, right? If you want kind of a toned look, then you need muscle. But what is it actually doing for us on a day-to-day basis?
Well, a lot. I mean, aside of aesthetics and creating that look, when women say I want to lift 3-pound weights because I want to look toned, and I taught that because I owned a bar studio. But I never really solely worked out that way. I lifted heavy weights. So muscle gives you definition. But it's also going to provide the strength so that you don't have to be the 1 in 3% of women that break a bone after age 50. It can eliminate vasomotor symptoms like hot flashes and night sweats by up to 70%.
What?
It increases brain health. It increases mood, confidence, which is something women struggle with a lot during these years. Body's changing. And it's just going to give you that longevity.
Gotcha. So what it's doing for you is, yes, the way you look, but I think too of like just sort of like everyday function, like perfect example. I recently went on a trip to Austin, Texas for the Life Coach School's Mastermind. Mm-hmm. And there was a time where I was doing a high intensity boot camp. Now, honestly, I think it was a little too in high intensity for me. It was a bit much. But the good thing about that is before that, I can remember struggling with the suitcase. While I was doing the high intensity workout, we did like a lot of push-ups and things like that. I can remember getting that suitcase down and it was no big deal. On this trip, right? Like I'm doing yoga, I'm doing walking, but I'm not picking up heavy things as you advocate. And it was like I was able to get the suitcase down out of the overhead bin and into the floor in front of me, and I didn't knock anybody out, but it was not like I didn't look cute doing it. It was not graceful, like it was awkward. I was kind of holding my breath doing it. So I definitely see things like that of being able to do things for ourselves, being able to do them safely, confidently. And that probably really affects how you feel about yourself, how you, right? Are you frail and a little old lady because you're 55 or because you stopped working out at 27 and never got back into it?
Old lady at 55?
Well, there are some people that are like, no, hang on. There's some people that are like 30 and are frail, right? That's what I'm saying. But we would blame it on our age, right? I just can't do things because I'm older. Well, is it because you're older or is it because you haven't replaced the muscle that you're losing and it's actually something you have control over? Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah. I'm not saying 55 is little old lady.
No, okay. But in order to be able to do your life, you have to be stronger than the demands of your life. So
yeah,
pick up heavy weights and they're like, the number one objective is I'm going to bulk. And I'm like, first of all, you're not, because you don't have the hormones. Even if you did when you were younger, you don't have the hormones to support that now.
Yeah.
So let's just like put that one to bed. You're not going to bulk. But also, you pick up heavy things every day. You pick up that 40-pound bag of dog food. You pick up the suitcases. You pick up your grandchild, to be able to do that. And I think that a lot of people, if they're younger, maybe towards 40, they're not thinking about being 70 and 80, So when I worked out when I was younger, it was much more almost solely about aesthetics. And now it's about my brain health, my mood, and aging optimally, because I don't want to be in a nursing home. I want to be active and vital and there,
Yeah. Well, and when you live in Florida, you definitely like, this is where all the old people from America come, I guess, like here, Arizona, maybe a couple of other places. So you notice them a lot more than you do other places. And there's definitely two different kinds of old people, right? There's like the cute grandma in tennis shoes who's like having a great life and I don't know, goes to like sip and paint and is always doing stuff like flying kites with the grandkids on the beach on the weekend. And then there are the like, kind of hard to get around, really unhappy, really miserable. And it's not necessarily an age thing, right? You would think like, oh, it's the old ones that can't get around and it's the younger old ones, but it's not that. It's really much more where the lifestyle comes to bear. And I think we start to first see that in the 40s. When I was in Costa Rica on a retreat recently, and the lady that I stayed with for a while said to me, in your 40s, the bill comes due. And I think it's really true, right? There's people in their 20s and 30s that are, and right, some things show up, some things don't. But there are some people that are living very unhealthy lifestyles and get away with it. You get into your 40s and you can, like, you go to a college reunion and some people look like they did in college and some people look like their parents did in college. You're like, what happened to Bob? And everybody's like, he's a big drinker. Yes. Like,
I'm going to be 57 next month. And my last high school reunion, my best friend looked at me and she said, when did some of these people get so old?
Yes.
Some of them look like just exactly like they did, and they're active.
Yes.
if you didn't have a name tag on, I wouldn't have known who you were.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. Some of them look just like they did, and some of them are in disguise, and it's not a cute disguise.
Yeah, absolutely. But just to speak to to kind of connect our two worlds, which have so much overlap, especially in the client that we serve, one of the things, this circles back to fitness, of course, is when you lose weight, you lose water and fat and muscle.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so up to 50% of weight loss up to can be muscle.
Mm-hmm.
And so the
Mm-hmm.
only way to really know that, if you're relying on a scale, you'll see the number on scale. So the only way to really know that is to get a smart scale. It's going to measure your lean muscle mass, blah, 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 blah. But if you get excited because you lost 10 pounds, if you consider that 3, 4, or up to 50%, up to 5 of that could have been muscle, then you've got a problem because you've lost metabolically active tissue.
Yes. Yes.
So when you lose that, then it down regulates your metabolism and increases the likelihood that you'll regain weight. So if people that say like, I keep gaining and losing the same 10 pounds over and over, I'm like, you really don't, because you lost the weight, you lost muscle and fat, you regained the weight. And when you regain the weight, you don't gain muscle, you only gain fat. So it becomes, every time you start, you're starting from a point of less muscle.
Thanks. That's horrifying.
Exactly.
That's really horrifying.
Yeah.
Well, and it actually speaks to one of my clients. So I worked with her for several months. She went through my whole program. We worked together a couple of months after. And then toward the end of us working together, she started work with a guy who is a trainer and also does like nutrition plans. And we were kind of like at cross purposes. I was like, why don't you just like work with the trainer, do what the trainer does, right? And then when you get done with the trainer, we'll reconvene. And I happened to be in the area and visited her recently, and we were talking about it. And she was really frustrated because she's like, my body is changing. Like I'm going into a smaller size, but the scale isn't changing. I was like, I don't think that's necessarily a problem. If you're wearing a smaller, like if you're not seeing it on the scale, but you're working with a personal trainer and you're going into smaller sizes of clothes all the time, that to me says you're probably gaining muscle, which is smaller than the same pound of fat. So you're gaining muscle, you're getting trimmer, you're getting more the look you want, but because you're losing fat and adding muscle, it's like balancing out on the scale. So that's another thing for people to be aware of too, is measurements or how your clothes fit or what size you are. That's as important as what the scale
it's a much
says. Yes.
I think. I mean, I had to give away my scale 25 years ago because I would get on it, strip naked, take my earrings out, pee,
because it was definitely the earrings that were the problem, right?
Would determine if my family and I, because of my mood, would have a good day or a bad day.
Yeah.
And one day somebody came over to borrow my scale. I said, do me a favor, don't give it back. So now I get weighed once a year at the doctor's. I take off my earrings now.
They won't let you strip naked at the doctor's. I've tried it.
Very poor indicator. So we think scale going down, that's great. So, but if scale goes down, muscle goes down, and then you're skinny fat.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Which is better than fat, but still not what we're going for, right? We're going for health. Also not cute. Yeah. It's the least cute kind of skinny.
The opposite is true, that if there isn't a change on the scale, or if the scale fluctuates upward, but you have more energy, you're sleeping better, you have less stress, your clothes fit better, people are complimenting you, you have more energy, your inches are smaller, you look better, and you look at photos of yourself. It's hard to not be tied to that number, but bottom line is, would it matter if you weighed 5 pounds more if you had all those other things?
Right.
2 sizes smaller.
Right.
Muscle tone and
yeah, it makes sense. So we kind of skipped over this at the time when you said it, but I realized that might have been like kind of an SAT word when you were talking about muscle being metabolically active. I kind of followed it, but that was kind of like inside baseball. So explain why people should care about having, right? Like if we want to be like cute and healthy, but we want to occasionally have a cookie, why is it good to have that metabolically active muscle tissue?
Because muscle burn, metabolically active just means that the more muscle you have, the more calories that your body burns, even at rest. So you really could ease up on your nutrition, not go nuts.
We're not going to go crazy. Right.
But
Yeah.
you can have that balance. I mean, I do. I mean, used to be very controlled, over exercised and underate for years and years, and that was my dance background. And it's hard for me to pull back on the exercise. And now, because of what I've learned about menopause, nutrition, and fitness, I'm working out 4 days a week when I used to work out 7. And I've increased my calories by several hundred a day. And I'm like,
I'm getting away with it.
And I thought, I know this stuff. I study this stuff. I teach this stuff. But yet, and it happens in my own body. I'm like, I'm baffled because I still think, oh my God, I didn't work out today. Like today, I didn't even put on leggings. I didn't work out. And I thought, I'm not going to wake up and weigh 400 pounds tomorrow because I have muscle that's working in my favor.
Exactly. And again, for me, it's about overall health that helps you in so many different ways. So
balances blood sugar. I mean, just so much stuff.
Yes.
Since they debunked the fact that metabolism slows after 30 or 40 or whatever, then, and the other study that said there's no real correlation between menopause and weight gain, then what is it? So what's left is genetics to some extent, hormones to some extent, lifestyle habits, so we tend to move less. And especially in the last 2 years, we're at home. Now that I don't have my physical fitness studio, I sit a lot, more now than I used to. And I have to remind myself to get up. So, movement during the day, are you moving less? Are you eating or drinking more? How, and here's the biggest ones that if these aren't in check, the fitness and the nutrition won't have a shot. Stress and sleep.
Yes, because those drive up the cortisol, which causes the belly fat, which is the least cute form of fat.
Women in life are more susceptible to the negative effects of stress. So life is a stress, the pandemic is a stress, our job could be a stress, our relationships could be a stress, our families, and then add to that dieting is a stress. And exercise, although it's a good stress, is a stress. So when you pile stress on stress on stress, it doesn't work.
Yeah. And this is a lot of what I teach folks too, is like, let's bring the stress down with the thought work, right? Like maybe some of that stress is a circumstance and there's nothing we can do about it, but let's not add an extra layer of suffering to the pain by beating ourselves up about it, right? So the thought work, the emotional work of like, maybe sometimes we just need to sit and be upset for a minute. And like most of us never learned how to process feelings. So learning about that. Another piece that I've recently added in that I teach my clients now is some things that they can do to kind of balance their nervous system. So you may not even be consciously aware of what you're thinking or feeling, but if you're like all amped up, if you can sometimes like bypass all the thought and the feeling work and just like hack straight into the nervous system, calm yourself down, bring down some of that stress response. And then it helps you in so many ways, right? We talked about the hormones with the cortisol, but also, if you're not all hysterical, it's going to change the way you show up in the world, which is going to stop you from creating more of your own stress on top of whatever else is there. So I think the stress thing is so big. It's, it's the world we live in now. It's that, 24-hour news cycle. I don't know that we were ever, that we evolved to deal with every terrible thing that happened all around the world. If you think, 1,000 years ago, we would just know about what was happening kind of in our little village. And maybe like once or twice a year, we'd get together with the neighboring villages and hear about the crappy things that happened there. But it wasn't like millions and billions of people's worth of like crappy things that we're hit with all the time now. So this is super fascinating. I could talk with you for hours, but I know everybody's time is super valuable. So I want to go ahead and wrap up. So if somebody watched this and they thought, oh no, I think I'm going to need to pick up heavy things and build muscle.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes, I
have
get to
options.
pick up heavy things and build muscle. Okay, right. Like coach myself.
Right.
So, how could they get more information about you and what do you offer as a solution for this?
Well, I right now am 100% online. So I build fitness programs for women in menopause or perimenopause or over 40, whatever category of that you fit in. I have a Bolder Strong program. It's a 12-week program. It's strength, cardio intervals, and mobility. It's just 20 to 40 minutes. The workouts are short and effective. I never work out for an hour.
Yay.
You don't have to, 20 to 40 minutes, 4 days a week, and then you customize that based on your feedback and the stuff that you do based on your feedback. You're feeling stressed. That's not the day to do a high intensity workout. That's the day to pull it back and do some restorative work.
Yeah.
So my fitness program can be done online. It also can be, you can print out the PDF and take it to a gym if you need to. But that's, it's all online. And then I'm going to revamp it so that I can offer a little bit more accountability, because that is so crucial. And a lot of people, there are some self-starters. I work out by myself, even though I owned a group fitness studio. It was ironic. I like to work at home and push myself hard. Some people don't. So I'm going to layer in accountability with either a Zoom call or Facebook Lives, where I could check in with people and say, how are you doing? What are you struggling with? What do you need? Where do we need to back off? Where do we need to increase things? And so I'll be able to offer that a little bit more accountability.
Fantastic.
My computer's like, want to reboot?
Oh no, not right now, computer. This is one of my famous quotes is I'm like, we need to take care of ourselves like Windows takes care of itself. Just be like, sorry, I have needs. I'm going to take care of myself. Like that's what it does when you do turn it back on. It's going to be like, I don't care why you turned on this computer. I got to take care of myself first. I got to go get all my updates. I got to go like, wow.
Happy ain't nobody happy.
I know, right? Like hashtag goals. Like when you're on the airplane and they tell you to put the oxygen on first, I feel like that reminder is not for the guys.
I just posted that
yeah.
Because women, the nurturers, the caregivers, put themselves last. And that's like one of the many benefits of being older, is that you're like, no, this is me time.
Yes.
Women often start new careers. They're like, I'm tired of BS,
yeah.
about me. And it kind of has to be, because it bleeds through in everything. And if you're the strongest you can be, the healthiest you can be, you fill your cup first, it only makes you better in every other area of your life.
Yeah.
For your family. So it's the opposite of selfish.
Yeah. I kind of think as we get older, it's like if you've ever been bowling, when you're a little kid, they have the bumpers, which I still need those, by the way. I don't know who I have to bribe at the bowling thing to like get them to put those up for me. But like when you're younger, you have sort of the bumpers, right? So you can go out and party and get up, go up party Thursday night, get up Friday morning, go to work, you're fine. You get older, like the bumpers start to come down and you just can't, there's just not as much margin for error. And I think that's actually a good thing, because it forces us to prioritize ourselves a little bit more and to start to do what, again, the guys have been doing, most of them since day one, right? Like put on our own oxygen mask before helping those around us. So I actually think it's kind of a good thing. So, all right. And if somebody is interested in your program, where do they find it or find, I know you're on Instagram. How can they find you on Instagram?
That's under my name. It's ampersand at Rita Jenkins Fitness. But my website is livingbolder.com.
Okay.
That's BOLDER.
Okay. So livingbolder.com to get the information on the workout plans. And something you said that I had not thought about when we talked before, but like if you've got a super cute, super excited 24-year-old who's your personal trainer, maybe we print those programs out and take them, and then they can check your form. They can make sure you're not going to injure yourself, but they have some idea of what someone in your category needs. Yeah. So I hadn't even thought about using it that way.
Yeah, my workout programs are designed to be done at home, but they have printable PDF calendars. So when I was in New York a couple weeks ago, I can do my workout right. I took my cell phone into the fitness center at the hotel gym.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I had my little printout. I knew exactly what to do. So what I do in these, because I can't see, I'm not doing these via Zoom, I can't see my clients. One of my superpowers is in cueing. I'm very good at cueing, teaching what muscle you're working and why, and setting people up, because I need them above all to be safe. So if safe,
Yes.
effective, and short workouts.
Yes. Yeah.
It's all basic stuff. So there's not any one leg on a Bosu, do a burpee, overhead press, twist.
No burpees.
It doesn't count. It's basic stuff.
They're against my religion.
Oh, yeah.
I understand why people love them. The trainer people love them because they work all the things, but all the things don't want to work at the same time. Please, it's a lot.
You have to take into consideration, if you are working with a trainer, if you're working with a male trainer, it doesn't mean that they don't know, but chances are your trainer has not been trained, hasn't been through, if it's they don't know. I mean, they don't know. And there's not a lot of training for this specific niche. So you have to be careful.
Yeah. It's the same reason I prefer to go to a female doctor for the downstairs inspection, because they know where it all is and what it feels like. And I just find they tend to be a little more sensitive.
I know my client. I know my client because I am my client.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes a big difference. So, all right, we got to wrap it up, but thank you, Rita. As always, it was delightful to talk to you. If you are watching this, we already gave you Rita's contact information. If you would like to hire me to help you get your mind right around the idea of working out with Rita, that's definitely, I need to do it for myself, but I can help you in the meantime. Yes, we got to get the mind right. Got to talk myself into it. That is definitely what I can help you with. The easiest way to jump on a call with me, if you just go to lisaduke.net/schedule, you can link to my online calendar. I do a free initial consultation where we talk about where you are, where you want to go, make sure you're a good fit for my weight loss program, answer any questions you have. And if you are ready, at the end of that, we take payment. It's $395 a month. And if you complete all 4 months of the program, it has a money back guarantee for up to a year later. So I know you will love it. Give yourself the opportunity, get some support. What did you say? It's our time. It's me time.
It's your me time.
It's your me time. So thank you all for watching. We'll see you later. Bye.
Thanks, Lisa. Bye.